of the famous Oriental Rabbanim of yesteryear. Very, very interesting. We are back in Larissa in Greece. We haven't spoken about any rabbis that were born in Greece for a while, and it's a Hilula here on Tet Vav Tammuz, the 15th of Tammuz, of Rabbi Avraham Filosof Z'tl Liv Racha. It will become, just in short, great. He will move to Jerusalem later on and become a great rabbi over there, Rosh Yeshiva of the Tefaeret Yerushalayim, a manager inside the a Sephardic orphanage in Jerusalem, or become a part of the Va'ad HaRabbanim, the rabbinic committee in Jerusalem, and Av Bet Din, a father of the Jewish court, and many other great positions, also part of the Rabbanit Harishit L'Yisrael. Also, so he was born in Larissa, in Greece, in Yavan, as they call it in Hebrew. I think it's on the towards the northern part of Greece, respectively. He was born there, and I think he was actually born in August 1864. That was, I think, in the month of Av, naturally. And what's interesting was his father was great rabbi. Also, Rabbi Yaakov Filosof was his father's name. And it's interesting. In September 1865, he moved to Israel. So he was only very, very young. He was only about 1 year of age or something. So he only lived in Greece for 1 year. But he was actually born in Greece himself. So moved with his family to Israel, and they lived in Jerusalem. And it's actually interesting. He learned, I think, with various different individuals. Individual teachers tutored him. And I think at age of 9 years of age, it was reported over, he learned in the Bet Sefer Lamad over there. I think that's a synagogue that was actually established in the 1856, maybe 10 years, 15 years before he actually moved there in Jerusalem. That was set up with this. So he was learning there, and he studied there, I believe, for 3 years. And then he moved to another school called the Doresh Tzion, which is Talmud Torah, with a Beit Midrash and a Beit Sefer. It was actually based in Jerusalem, I think, catering for Sephardic students. And over there he learned that many great future Rabbanim were part of his learning group, including Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Habr, who would later on become a great Kabbalist also, which I've pointed out, Bet Din also. Rabbi Avraham Azriel, a great rabbi we've spoken about, also who become part of the rabbinic committee of Jerusalem, and also Rabbi Cheskia Shabtai, also who would actually go on to become an Av Bet Din, or a Sephardi Av Bet Din, respectively in Jerusalem, and become the Chacham Bashi in Libya. So very, very great Rabbanim. He actually learned with at a young age. And I believe in May 1879, it was reported over that I believe he got married to Rabbanit Joya, who happens to be the daughter of Rabbi Raphael Moshe HaKohen, another great rabbi of Israel at the time. And I think he was working in trade at that point in time, if I'm not mistaken. And during this period, he was learning to write Pesachei Dins, short ones, Charlotte and Shvot, respectively. And I believe he had correspondence and was learning close with Rabbi Yaakov Shaul Elisha, who was another great rabbi who would actually become the Rishon LeZion later on in the years 1893. And I think at that point in time, there was another school that was opened up, which was teaching. And I think through the auspices of another great rabbi, Rabbi Rav Shlomo Yosef. So he actually, I think, actually ended up studying there in the year 1880, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he actually started learning Torah through Rav Baruch Pinto, who was another great rabbi in Jerusalem over there. And I think he started learning Kabbalah also, I think, next to Rav Yitzchak Sharim, who was a great, great rabbi also. And he actually, at that stage in time, I think he was associated also with the famous Yeshivat Bet El, the great Kabbalistic yeshiva also in Jerusalem. And afterwards, I think he was also learning with other great rabbis, including Rabbi Yitzchak Ashkenazi, Rabbi Shmuel Miyochas, and Rabbi Nissim Elisha, and also Rabbi Yaakov Meir. Rabbi Yaakov Meir, most notably, was later on became the Rishon LeZion, the Sephardic Rishon LeZion, the first chief rabbi, or Sephardic chief rabbi of the land of Israel. And I think it was in the 1897. So at that point in time, he would have been about 33 years of age. He was, I think, part of the Yeshivat Bet Yaakov, under Rav Yaakov Shaul Elisha, and he was appointed as in a position of the Bet Din, the Jewish court, also of Rabbi Yaakov Shimon Mitalan, also alongside Rabbi Yitzchak Sharim, also are great rabbis. And after Rabbi Yitzchak Shako passed away, HaKohen passed away, I think in the year 1906, he was appointed part of a permanent rabbi inside this Bet Din also. And then I believe around this time period, he was appointed in a position of there was a Sephardic orphanage in Jerusalem, and he was appointed a head position over there with huge responsibilities. I'm not too sure how many years it was, but it was especially during the years surrounding 1908. And at that point in time, he was serving as a deputy also to a great Rabbi David Papo, who was actually the Bet Din in the Eidas Fardit in Jerusalem. And it's actually interesting, Rabbi David Papo, who we've spoken about also before in other videos, would later on become a Chacham Bashi in Tripoli, in Libya, also in Baghdad, in Iraq, I think also in Macedonia, and also had huge positions also in Jerusalem. So that was a very, very great position also. And this was, I think, part of the Bet Din of the Eidas Fardit in Jerusalem. And then he was part of the Dayanim, working alongside Rav Yosef Mordechai Levi and Rav Hanania Gabriel, also, who was also an Av Bet Din, also over there. And I think this was until the year 1919, if I'm not mistaken. Hey Taf Reish Ayin Tet. And I think just going back earlier in September month, in the year 1906, he was actually selected to part of the Vada Rabbanim of the Eidas Fardit in Jerusalem also. So we're talking about in 1906, which was 118 years ago. And those were time periods when he was working there with great rabbis that were leading Jerusalem at the time, including Rav Nachman Betito and Rav Moshe Yehuda Franco, two rabbis that who had those were great rabbis who had the position as the Rishon LeZion at those points in time. And I think in October 1919 he was selected as Shamash, as once again as part of the Ba'ad Ha'ida Sfardit Yerushalayim. So this was, and that position I think he filled till the year 1928. These were all he had simultaneous jobs, I believe, during these stages in time. In June 1919, I think this was in the month of Sivan, he was, I think, working along with the Chacham Bashi, if I am not mistaken, in Israel. This was over there. This was in a representative of the Chacham Bashi in the selection committee. Also another very prestigious and another position that filled a lot of huge responsibility at that time. Well, I think they helped in selecting who will be the Chacham Bashi, if I'm not mistaken. And during the First World War, Melchemet HaOlam Harishona, he was, I think, working as a Rosh Yeshiva in the famous Yeshivat Tefaert Yirushalayim also. And it was dealing with the Va'at Ha'ir, also with the main committee of the city, also of the Jewish people in Jerusalem at that point in time. And what's interesting, I think at that stage in time, he actually moved himself to live in the Shchuna of Yamin Moshe in Jerusalem, if I am not mistaken also. He actually was, while he was the Yamin Moshe, he served as a rabbi of the Sephardic synagogue in that neighborhood. So naturally he did move away there. And later he went on to live in the Ruhumat neighborhood until he would pass away. That was after that stage in time. It's actually interesting, another interesting fact with regard to him, when the Baron Rothschild actually came to visit Jerusalem, I believe in February 1914, he actually went and met him also there as a representative of the Eidat Sfardit in Jerusalem. I think he also went along with Rabbi Yosef Levi. And in 1920, he was working along with the president of the organization, I think Mizrahi, also of Jerusalem, if I'm not mistaken. This was in the year 1920. So he was serving as president. I think this was in the annual conference of the Mizrahi movement in Jerusalem. And in February 1921, in the month of Adar, he was elected to serve as a member of the Chief Rabbinic Council. And this is a position that he would hold until he passed away in the year 1940, I believe. So that would have been about a 20-year tenure also at the same time. In 1926, He was working with regards to the framework of the chief rabbinate, also in Israel. And I believe the chief rabbi at the time, the Rishon LeZion, was Rabbi Yaakov Meir, rabbi we've spoken about before. And he himself established 4 courts on behalf of the Sephardic community in Jerusalem. And he appointed Rabbi Filosof as the head of the 4th court, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was working along with Rabbi Yosef Mordechai Levi and Rabbi Yehuda HaKohen Shako. Also, these were other great rabbis. And also, I think Rabbi Hananiah Gabriel and Rabbi Moshe Adas also were very much part of that great allegiance of great rabbanim, these parts of these different great courts. And he was at Av Bet Din, obviously. And then he passed away on 21st of July in the year 1940. We're talking about 84 years ago from time of recording. It was in Tetvav Tammuz, as we stated before. Notably, I think a few of his grandsons became famous professors also in Israel, if I am not mistaken. I think Professor Shmuel Shai, who is a professor in Israel, also is one of his grandchildren, and another Professor Aaron Shai, also, who is another professor also of history, if I'm not mistaken, and left many other descendants, I believe. And yeah, please don't forget to light candles in the great rabbi's memory. Here is, which is here on Tetvav Tammuz, Rabbi Avraham Filosof Z'tl, a great rabbi born in Greece, and will later on hold extremely high positions all throughout Jerusalem in many different dynamic positions, Torah-related positions. So wishing you a great day. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the videos and watch over the previous videos we've done in this phenomenal series.